Good morning, folks. Welcome. It's your final daily update of the week. It's Friday, 24th of April. Just a few bits of news to mention this morning. The UK government are rolling out coronavirus testing on a much larger scale now, with up to 10 million key workers able to book a test online. Although it does seem like they are struggling to meet their expectation of doing 100,000 tests per day by the end of April. But on the whole, this is positive news for sure. Up to 10 million key workers are going to have access to testing, hopefully very soon. And this is what will ultimately keep people safe and allow people to come back to work and so on. In other news, remarkably, Donald Trump flexed his scientific prowess by offering guidance to the top level, highly trained scientists around the world who are searching for a vaccine. What was his suggestion? Well, simply inject antibacterial products like bleach into people's bodies. I mean, come on, Donald, surely you're better than this. You can't understand his logic. These products, they kill germs, so therefore, why not just stick them inside the body and let them kill the virus? And in theory, that would work, I suppose, but the slight downside, of course, is that the bleach would also destroy your lungs, your stomach, your entire digestive system, and you'd end up in hospital on life support anyway. Just a little bit of a problem there. It is a fascinating insight into the mind of Mr. Trump, though. I'm starting to think he genuinely believes that he is the smartest man in the world, and that if he puts his mind to it, he can kind of just solve any dilemma. So we'll see what happens with that idea. I wouldn't be holding your breath until the Trump bleach vaccine gets rolled out across the world. In much more serious news, the World Food Programme Organization have predicted that the virus is going to lead to famines around the world on what they call a biblical scale. And obviously that's deeply concerning. The aftermath of this problem is going to linger for quite some time for the poorest people and the poorest nations on earth. And so there ought to be all kinds of help given to those who are in desperate need once we finally come through the pandemic. And this is where we need to be directing our praying a lot, because even the wealthy nations and the governments are going to be strapped for cash a little bit after all this is done. And so there might not be a lot of help forthcoming. So we need to pray and ask the Lord to provide, especially for those living in poverty, struggling to get by. And in our own context, we can keep donating to food banks like Storehouse. Our church in Hollywood donates food and supplies to North Down Storehouse regularly, although that's obviously been hampered at the minute because of the lockdown. But there is still a way to donate. There are drop-off points in Bangor where food and supplies can still be dropped off. So let me know if you have anything to give, and we could try and sort of organise a way to get that down there. Or else you can donate financially, and I'll put a link below to the North Down Storehouse donation page if you would like to consider that. Finally, this morning I wanted to share a few verses from Psalm 13. And perhaps you're maybe feeling anxious, perhaps you're feeling concerned about the future, and maybe just at the minute all this lockdown stuff is just getting a bit much to deal with. Well, this psalm reminds us that we can cry out to God whatever it is that we are feeling on the inside, whatever our emotion, whatever our experience of all of this, we can bring that before the Lord. Perhaps you can relate then to the anguish in these words in Psalm 13. How long, Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts and day after day have sorrow in my heart? How long will my enemy triumph over me? Look on me and answer, Lord my God. Give light to my eyes, or I will sleep in death. And my enemy will say, I have overcome him, and my foes will rejoice when I fall. But I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. I will sing the Lord's praise, for he has been good to me. Folks, if you are afraid, if you are worried, bring it to the Lord. Even if you don't know what to say, use words like this from the Psalms. The Psalms are God-given, God-inspired words for us to use to cry out to him. And know this, he hears and he listens. And notice how the psalm finishes on that positive note. As we bring our troubles before this almighty yet compassionate God, we're reminded of his love which is unfailing. we're able, even in the midst of the difficulty, to rejoice in the salvation that he gives. And we're reminded that he is good to us. He always has been, he is good to us, and he always will be. May you know the presence of the Lord with you today and over this weekend. Don't forget, we'll be live on YouTube on Sunday morning at 10:30 for our all-age interactive family service. You're very welcome to join us. Until then, God bless.